Hey guys, it's been a while. I can go ahead and talk about how I've been really busy over the past year and didn't get enough time for YouTube, but I'm not a liar, so I'm just gonna be honest. While I have been at Princeton swamped with work inside and outside of class, the reason I haven't been regular on YouTube is just because I didn't prioritize it enough. I was just spending my time doing other things. But recently, I realized that making these videos and sharing my ideas makes me happy, and I do help people. And it's my responsibility to keep creating content for all 1,102 of you. Which reminds me, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I know it sounds like a very small milestone, but when I first started out, I had no clue I would ever get to this stage, so this is a pretty big deal for me. So here's the exciting part. I'm effectively revamping this channel and I'm gonna enter a new phase of videos about college, productivity, and student life. And don't worry, I'm not a boring YouTuber and will try to keep my content interesting. But this video and the one after this will mark the end of my high school series. I believe I have put out all the knowledge I had for high schoolers and now it's time to move on. And I'm very excited about this new phase, but I don't want to make unrealistic promises. So the average frequency of uploads on this channel from now on is going to be about once in 2 weeks. Anyways, on with the video. So the first essay is the very important college-specific essay. And the prompt is, as a research institution that also prides itself on its liberal arts curriculum, Princeton allows its students to explore areas across the humanities and the arts, the natural sciences and the social sciences. What academic areas most pique your curiosity, and how do the programs offered at Princeton suit your particular interest? I hovered through terminal windows, scurry across Python generators, and raced amidst code. The integration of computer science and sustainable development drives me. CS to me is the remarkable intersection between structure and chaos, logic and creativity. From embedded hardware programming to back-end app development to machine learning models, the sheer versatility of CS inspires me. CS to me is art. I paint with code on the blank canvases of text editors. With hours of hard work, recodes, and detailing, I produce my next beautiful masterpiece. In my ever-changing source code, computer science is the only constant. At Princeton, I wish to hone my drive for using technology to make an environmental and societal impact. Through the integration of the environmental engineering and computer science programs, Princeton's seamless opportunities will empower me to impact. From the art sing to the parade, I want to cherish every aspect of Princeton. Be it Professor Peter Singer's philosophical views or Professor Ryan Adams' lectures on AI and machine learning, Princeton's interdisciplinary opportunities are tailor-made for me. My pursuit of computer science need not end at classrooms and theory. I can dive into riveting research on computational engineering with the PICS CIE program, or move across the globe with the International Internship Program, exposing me to diverse communities and experiences. I need not stop at building an app, accelerating my work into reality with the entrepreneurial support of ventures like Tiger Launch and the eLab Incubator. I can actualize my creations with Princeton's resources. Working with AI chatbots, alternate operating systems, and JS games, I got to taste the real world at Google Coding. Working with companies on impactful, open source projects, I realized my passion to engineer change. My love for computer science has grown from HTML to Python to machine learning. At Princeton, I hope to sharpen these skills while exploring new ones. I see myself engaging, learning, and impacting. I see myself at Princeton. This essay, which is effectively why Princeton, is one of the most important questions for any university's application because it shows how good of a fit you are for that university and how good of a fit that university's culture and programs are for you as a person and as a student. To be as specific as possible, because if you just give generic answers like you like computer science and you like these areas of computer science, that doesn't necessarily tell you why Princeton is the right fit or why any particular university is the right fit. So mentioning particular professors' names, their research, particular programs that you want to do at Princeton, clubs you want to be a part of, that is always really helpful because that is university specific. On that note, I also want to add that don't just Google random things about your major and just shove them into your essay because admissions officers will see right through stuff like that. And just include stuff that you genuinely want to be a part of. Some of the things that I've mentioned in my essay, I am currently doing at Princeton. So My biggest piece of advice will be genuine about your answer and find things that you really want to be a part of and show them why you're a good fit for the university. I also think that in this essay, there needs to be a good balance of why that major and why that university. So I try to bring a balance towards why my experiences and my love for computer science makes me want to engage in that field. And the other half of the essay, or 50% of the essay, was why Princeton's programs specifically were a good fit for me. The next prompt is the extracurricular activity one. Briefly elaborate on an activity, organization, or work experience or hobby that has been particularly meaningful to you. Day 1. Gasping for breath with burning muscles, I charge forward. Fleeting towards the 5-mile mark, my legs crave rest and my lungs combat the oxygen deficit. Reaching the finish line, my chest isn't greeted with a red ribbon or a gold medal. Instead, I check my time for the run, logging it onto 100daysofrunning.in. Day 8. My muscles yelled and my lungs wept, but my mind didn't allow them any voice. The desire to rest battled against the drive to succeed every day. Remarkably, what had sparked off as a casual attempt at fitness turned into an addiction. I found joy in stretching hamstrings as well as my personal boundaries. Day 100. 382 miles later, I surged ahead, understanding how choosing to run regardless of the discomforts made me stronger. I have inculcated this learning into different aspects of my life. From a seemingly incomprehensible programming language to a new table tennis serve to my next bizarre app idea, I tenaciously charged towards the finish line. Running taught me how to find reasons to do things rather than excuses not to. Be it running before sunrise in Central Park or at 10 p.m. in a parking lot, I went 100 days without making excuses. My main piece of advice for this prompt will be to pick an activity that is genuinely meaningful to you rather than one that you think will help your application. We sometimes focus too much on putting our resume out there through our essays that we will make ourselves pick an activity that is related to our major or related to what we're applying for. But that isn't always the case. If that is the most meaningful activity to you, feel free to put that. But I felt like running taught me so much and made me grow so much as a person that I wanted that to be a part of my application. Another piece of advice for this essay would be to take that one extracurricular experience or work experience or hobby and expand that into what it has taught you and how it has changed you as a person beyond the activity itself. For example, like I mentioned, running didn't only make me a better runner, but it taught me the value of hard work, not making excuses, and showing up no matter what. This essay is a very interesting one and is very specific to Princeton, I think. At Princeton, we value diverse perspectives and the ability to have respectful dialogue about difficult issues. Share a time when you had a conversation with a person or a group of people about a difficult topic. What insight did you gain? And how would you incorporate that knowledge into your thinking in the future? In a white kurta, I walked around the temple, serving food to the pandits. It was my grandfather's funeral, and as a ritual, we were serving food to upper caste male priests. Amidst a silent and somber atmosphere, a feeling of dissatisfaction and doubt rose within me. Why were we only serving better off male priests while the hungry and poor stood outside the temple? Why weren't we serving any women? I only understood the sensitivity of the issue after a long whispered discussion with my father about how I felt. Perplexed between faith and logic, I started to draw lines. Death wasn't an event that occurred to just one person, but to everyone attached to that person. My devastated grandmother believed that appeasing the gods by feeding priests was a connection to my grandfather, an ode to his memory. The idea of bringing peace to my grandfather brought her peace too. Respecting my grandmother's and my parents' emotions was just as important as the logical argument I was advocating for. I decided to purchase extra food for men, women, and children outside the temple. Standing up for what I believed in was imperative, but no more than having respect and empathy for traditions. I had realized that a logical argument wasn't always the right one. A balance between reason, faith, and emotion was. In the future, when exposed to different communities and practices all over the world, I will value diverse cultures and sentiments. By learning to respect other people's perspectives, I have developed a careful communication and understanding. Destroying long practiced traditions is not a solution, but starting new, better ones might be. I personally struggled a lot with this essay because it was just so different than anything I had written before. But my main piece of advice again here would be to pick something that is genuine and pick something that is meaningful to you. And similar to the previous essay, I would recommend that use that conversation you had and the things you learned from it and express how you're going to use those learnings in the future and how you're a better, more thoughtful, and respectful person because of the dialogue that you had. I think this is a good general theme for an entire college application. What happened, what did you learn, and how are you going to implement that in the future? I think when it comes to college essays, the fact that you had an experience isn't a meaningful enough answer, but talking about what you've learned from it and how you're going to use those learnings in the future makes your essay particularly impactful. Moving on to the short essays. I'm going to read all three before I get into what I think about these essays and what I think you should do. Please respond to each question in 50 words or fewer. There are no right or wrong answers. Be yourself. What is a new skill you would like to learn in college? I grew up in a close knit community, interacting with similar people. Uprooting across the globe, I hope to learn the skill of networking with strangers. From researching alongside Russian students to dancing to Mohobello beats in African festivals, I want to form connections and have conversations with diametrically diverse individuals. What brings you joy? Little things. Correcting the autocorrect. Making people laugh. The smell of new books. Compilation successful. Sunrises. Holding my shoulders high. Nicknames. Brand new pencils. Straight lines. Hugs. The smell of grass after it rains. Hoodies. Buttering toast generously and immediately so that it melts and sinks in. What song represents the soundtrack of your life at this moment? Count on Me by Bruno Mars. Interpersonal relationships hold great value in my life. The song captures the eternal essence of friendships. As high school ends, friendships that have lasted a decade will be pulled apart. But regardless of being under different skies, our friendships, memories, and bonds will stay the same. The best piece of advice that I can give you for these essays is to be as genuine and as simple as possible. We all spent 4 or 5 years building up that profile, stats, extracurriculars, honors that are in our application to impress the admissions officers. I don't think that essays are a medium to impress. I think that we've already done enough of that. And now, with questions like these, the best thing you can do is to express yourself and show who you really are as a person and try to connect with people, try to connect with the admissions officer instead of trying to get them to like you. If you noticed, I kept my essays as simple as possible. The ability to talk to people from different cultures is something I really wanted to learn because I grew up in India in a very non diverse community and I only had conversations with people who were effectively from the same city as me. And going across the world to the United States, I wanted to learn how to network with, connect with, and talk to people from all over the planet. My What Brings You Joy essay is the favorite piece of writing I have ever produced, and it's the simplest thing I have ever written. It's literally just a compilation of 2 word sentences and things that bring me joy. And the soundtrack of my life at that moment when I was applying to colleges was very simple. I was going to miss my friends and I wanted to talk about how I was going to stay connected to them because those relationships matter a lot to me. Jamming an analogy or using long, complex sentences in a 50-word essay is never going to help you. So, what you should try to do instead is just keep it simple and tell the truth. What brings you joy? A few closing remarks to summarize. For college specific essays, do your research and talk about things that actually interest you about the university. For other essays like extracurriculars, social work, and short essay questions, keep it simple, be honest, and tell the truth about what is actually meaningful to you, and hope that you can connect with the admissions officer. Do not try to impress them. That's all I have for you.